What's going on YouTube? My name is Marcus, aka Apostle, and today I am bringing you another Spellbreak guide. We are going to be talking about the Wind Gauntlet. I wanted to talk about the Gauntlet in particular because I wanted this video to be useful to you whether or not you run the Tempest class. There are going to be some Tempest tips in here as well, so if you are playing the Tempest class, it should be for you, and if you're not, it should be for you too. If you do find this video useful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as check out the Twitch stream down in the description below. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can find my creator code right here, ApostleOG. You can throw that in the Spellbreak store or the Epic Games store as a whole when you're checking out, and a bit of the proceeds go to me. So if you want to go above and beyond, you can go ahead and do that. For this video, we're going to start with the basics of the Gauntlet and then get into some more advanced stuff later and finish it off with what I think is the most useful part of fight breakdown. This is where I'm going to take one of my fights using the Gauntlet and explain everything that was going on in my head throughout the fight. So be sure to stay tuned for the fight breakdown. Anyways, let's get into the video. The Wind Gauntlet's primary is a quick moving projectile with quick attack speed that does small damage, and that damage drops off over distance. It's most comparable to an SMG. If you are playing Tempest, your primary spell's gonna push you off of the object that it hits, so if you cast it at your feet, it's gonna launch you straight up into the air. This is called a wind jump and is one of the funnest mechanics in Spellbreak. Wind Sorcery casts a tornado out, which pulls in both projectiles and players. It pulls harder while you're in the air, so if you're getting pulled in by a tornado, make sure not to jump because it's just gonna pull you right back in. The tornado can be useful for some CC, but it doesn't do any damage unless you combine it with fire or toxic. If you're running Tempest, your tornado is super useful because once you hit level 2, your tornado is going to launch you straight up in the air when you go inside of it. This is super fun and really increases your mobility, and it also combines well with your level 3 skill, which is going to allow you to do increased damage while you're airborne, and also your level 4 spell, which speeds up your sorcery cooldowns while you're in the air. Personally, if I'm running the Wind Gauntlet, I'm for sure going to be running Tempest because it just makes it so much fun. Now, let's talk about which gauntlets you should pair Wind with. Since Wind is a close range gauntlet, it pairs well with longer range gauntlets like Lightning or Ice to allow for a more versatile playstyle at all ranges. If you're someone who's fond of close range combat, you can run Wind with either Fire or Stone. Both of these are going to add some burst damage to your build, which really complements the small, consistent damage that your Wind Gauntlet's going to be doing. Although Fire and Stone work at close ranges, I wouldn't really run Toxic with Wind, because they're both really close range gauntlets. You have to be like right in their face to do damage. So if you take them both, you're really limiting yourself to only being able to do damage while you're right in somebody's face. You can make it work, but honestly it just doesn't make a lot of sense to do it. Since Wind is a close range gauntlet, you're going to need a rune that allows you to close the distance or have good close range movement. If you're looking to have a rune that closes the distance well, you can use Teleport or Flight, but once you use these to get in close, your movement's going to be really limited, so you better be able to finish off the person fast. My preference is using close range runes like Shadow Step, Spring Step, or Dash. That's because if you pair these runes with the Tempest class, you can have really insane movement and play with a lot of style. It's a really fast paced, high intensity style, but it's a lot of fun if you could pull it off. Now that we've talked about how the Gauntlet works and what pairs well with the Gauntlet, let's take a look at this fight. I'm going to play out the entire thing for you, and then we're going to rewind it starting from the beginning. I'm going to break down exactly why I made the decisions that I made throughout it. Let's check it out.
It's like not a great location. Can you just not like, dude? Oh my god, you're so annoying.
Sorry. Oh shit.
Why are people over there?
Okay. This has got to be Blizz third partying.
I think he came in third party us from the back and super dead.
Oh, it's Cookie. Are we in like a scrim or something? What is happening? Perfect. Sniped from a thing I couldn't even hear. Oh, I did not want to do that. Did not want to do that. Oh, he threw down his... There's another one behind me. Finish that guy.
Okay.
Oh, another team here. Yay. Stony boy, so I took 1,000 damage for no reason. Okay, like that doesn't hit. There's stone and wind too. Lame.
I can't believe,
It's not butter.
dude.
That guy's still alive.
Get down! I downed him. I think I'm just tired at this point. Someone's gonna come and exile me because I am tired.
Aha. Alright, now that you've seen the whole clip, let's go back and break it down. We're going to start off with my build here. I'm running the Tempest class with a Frost Gauntlet, a Purple Wind, and then I am running Runic Fluency, Fervor, and Recovery. Runic Fluency gives you an extra rune charge, Fervor increases your attack speed, which is really good with Wind because you can wind jump really fast with it, and Recovery allows you to recover half of the health that you've lost over time. So basically it just adds a little bit more tankiness to your build. I'm also running a Shadow Step rune. This could easily be replaced with Dash or Spring Step. Basically, you just use it to dodge and close distance and just be a lot more mobile as a Tempest player. So as this clip starts, I see a guy pushing me here. He's running Frost. He's got his Frost Trail coming at me. He has Fortitude, which is that blue glow around him, so I know that my first shot is going to do no damage to him. So what this means is I'm going to want to hit him with my wind, not my ice, because it's going to be easier to hit a wind shear and it just does less damage than like a fully charged ice. He's also throwing a Toxic Cloud at me, so I know he's running Frost and Toxic. I'm just kind of waiting to see if he pushes me, see what he does. I'm going to back up a little bit here. So I jump in the air to try to push him. As you can see, I just levitate into the air to kind of get a gist of where he's at. Try to break his Fortitude with my wind, but he's charging up a Frost Shot. You can see him. And so what I do is I break his Fortitude with a wind shear here, and then immediately Shadow Step to the side to dodge his incoming Frost Shot. As you see, he actually shot, so it was an effective dodge. And I actually threw down a Tornado to the side here to prepare myself and keep me in the air, because as Tempest, you want to be above somebody basically as much as possible and be in the air as much as possible. But if you can get directly above somebody, you'll be able to do a whole lot of damage, and you'll see this right here. I get right on top of him, and it's really hard to escape once somebody gets right on top of you as a Tempest, because they can fire their wind shears down and hit you with them, and then that keeps them above you with their wind jump. So as you can see, I get a bunch of damage off. I Shadow Step in the air just to keep my Squall up, which is the increased damage. As you can see, I just got my Squall right here. So Shadow Step up, hit a nice little flick on him, and then land in his Frost Sorcery, which freezes me. I get snuck up on the back. I know Bastion, my teammate, was fighting somebody. I don't know whether or not it was a guy who I just fought's teammate, but I know there's two teams here now, because there is somebody fighting Bastion and somebody just snuck up on me. I took a huge chunk of damage, so I'm just trying to back off, trying to figure out what's going on exactly, just trying to escape the fight and kind of get away and figure out who's fighting who and let the two teams fight each other, because I don't want to be directly in the middle, especially this low. I try to peek and get a little bit more knowledge and get sniped, which sucks. So I back off, pop some potions. I know I got hit from the northeast, so I'm hiding behind this wall to give me some cover. and Bastion's down. I see an opportunity to res him. I throw this tornado down, which pops me up in the air. What I was trying to do was throw a tornado somewhere in this general area just to kind of get people a little bit more confused, to give just a little bit more chaos. You know, if you throw a tornado right in the middle of people or in between you and them, what it's going to do is going to pull their projectiles if they see you, which is going to block for you, and then it's also going to make a lot of noise and just pull people in and make people kind of freak out a little bit. So people are going to be less focused on me escaping if I throw that tornado down. I did choke it, but it doesn't matter. I got away. Gonna pop the revive on Bastion and just pot up a little bit here. Kind of just trying to figure out what's going on. See that these two teams are still fighting. I see one has stone. I'm not sure what this guy has. You can see he's got flame on his right hand and I think ice on his left hand. So the reason I didn't push, there's two reasons. One, that guy has stone and he was on the same level as me, so I don't want to be right. I don't want to give him the easy opportunity to hit me with stone. Two, I just don't want to get in the middle of a 2v1 fight. I have ice, so I can just snipe in and easily third party them. So as soon as that stone shaper fell, I pushed up here because now I have the high ground on him and his stone gauntlet is basically useless. So now I'm just trying to figure out who's low, finish him off. I get him one shot, so I let Bastion chase him down, and then I try to find the other guy. I see that there's an orb down over here, so I'm kind of just trying to watch over it, make sure he doesn't get the res off, and then another team comes in on this side. So now I'm just trying to watch this res. Basically, I don't want these guys to get this guy back up. You can use down enemies to really bait people out. So if you see a res, you can really play around it. As you can see, I got on top of this guy, used my squall, and then wind sheared him down a good bit from close range. I think I broke his armor right there. Try to get a nice little frost shot off. It looked like it hit, but it didn't connect. And now it's pretty even, so I'm trying to get some potions off. I don't have thirsty, unfortunately. I have recovery, and I only have 2 big pots, so it's going to be really hard for me to get those off while I'm actually fighting somebody. So I kind of disengage, get the high ground, especially with Tempest and Tempest Frost. It's always about trying to have the high ground and just trying to keep tabs on people because you're moving around so much as a Tempest player. So you want to get good at like engaging and disengaging fights and taking damage, or not taking damage, but giving a little bit of damage and then kind of backing off if you need to, and then going back in and making sure they don't pot, but getting your own heals off if you can. So I'm just up on the high ground. I'm watching this guy. I know that the orb is down there, so I'm letting him push his friend. I'm trying to just jump on his head and prevent the res. He really wants to get his friend back up. I forgot to mention that these guys that we're fighting are players that are known throughout the community, so they're pretty good players. With my ice shot, he's got stone, so what I don't want to do is stand right here. As you saw, his stone went right up this staircase, so I go to the right of the staircase because his stone's not going to be able to climb up this sharp of a wall. So that basically kind of negates his stone. I walk out into the staircase anyways, get a nice little frost shot off or two. And then as soon as I finished that kill, I was getting shot in the back. Just like I was saying before, if you don't know what's going on, always try to get the high ground, create distance from where you know the enemies are, and try to get up high because that's going to allow you to figure out exactly what's going on. One of the most difficult things in this game is keeping track of your enemy. So being able to keep distance and not be right on top of people is really key for that, because if somebody's right on top of you, they can be any direction at any time. Because if they're in front of you and they dash, they can dash to your right, they can dash to your left, they can dash directly behind you, and you just immediately lose them for at least a split second or two. And if you're not used to the game, you're going to lose them for a lot longer and take a whole lot of damage really quickly. So if you're kind of overwhelmed and you don't realize what's going on, try to disengage, get the high ground, but while you're disengaging, don't just run straight away. You always want to be trying to face your enemy and have sights on them. Because if you're just running straight away, you're a free target. It's one of the biggest things. I have a 5 beginner mistakes video, I think it's called. You can find it on my channel. It's in the same playlist that this video is going to be in. So if you want to see that, that's one of the mistakes, is just running straight away from somebody. You want to be running and turning around and facing them and trying to put out other damage and prevent them from catching up to you. So I ran a little bit, didn't create too much distance, just kind of picking these guys off, trying to get a feel for what's going on with these guys. Hit this guy with a frost shot, which causes him to back up, and then hit the other guy with the frost shot to end the clip. we'll just end it on that frost shot. I think after this clip goes on for quite a bit longer. I think we're in a big fight for pretty much the rest of the game. So what ends up happening is I get these guys to back off because I did some damage to them, and then I go and I res Bastion, and then I think we just kind of completely disengage for a little bit. So this is the end of all the action. But let's talk about some key takeaways from everything that just happened there, because there's a lot going on. One, if you're Tempest class, try to get right on top of somebody. If you're using the Wind Gauntlet, try to be as close to them as possible because the damage drops off really quickly. And if you're on top of them as the Tempest class, you're going to hit for full damage. You're going to hit with your Squall, which is increased damage. And it's just really hard to track you when you got to look straight up in the air. It's really hard to hit somebody above you. It's really hard to get away. So you want to be on top of the other person as a Tempest player. 2, always try to keep the high ground and keep a little bit of distance if you're confused. 3, your Wind Gauntlet sorcery, the Tornado, is really good for disrupting people's, just making chaos. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Don't use it to throw out and just try to hurt people with it, because even if it doesn't do any damage first off unless you combine it with fire and toxic, and even if it does, if you hit like the entire tornado, it does maybe like 20 damage, and you're usually not going to hit the entire tornado anyways. So it's super good defensively and super good to just use whenever you need a distraction. That's really what it's good for. If you can get it in between you and the enemy, it's really, really difficult for them to hit any of their shots unless they're running lightning. Lightning's still pretty easy, but everything else, fireballs, it's gonna pull it like completely a 90-degree angle. Ice, it's gonna cut it pretty hard too. Wind shears get pulled. It's Toxic's entire like spread gets pulled in. The only thing that it doesn't really stop is stone and lightning. But if you can get that in between somebody who's using gauntlets that aren't stone or lightning, then it's really one of the best defensive tools you have in Spellbreak. One of the biggest tips I can give you is try to learn how to use your sorceries defensively instead of offensively. Offense is easy, you just throw it on the person, but defense kind of takes a little bit more nuance to it. So focus on learning to use them defensively and you'll get a lot more out of them. Anyways, I do hope you guys were able to take something from this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as check out the Twitch stream down in the description below. And if you're buying anything out of the Spellbreak store, you can use my creator code. You can see it in the top right corner, Apostle OG. If you don't use mine, for sure, just use somebody's. It's free money for a creator. So whoever your favorite creator is, throw their creator code into the store when you're buying stuff, and it gives them free money essentially. I really hope this video was helpful for you. I'm gonna do one of these on every gauntlet, so if it was, you can go and check out those. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the HoloLens.